Why we don't talk, me and my mother? That's a long story. You can see part of it on, like, if you go to the front of my page on TikTok, you'll see that I have, like, if you go to the front of my page on TikTok, you'll see I named something Blood and Money. It's a part 1 and a part 2. That's part of why I don't speak to her. That's part of it. That's a little snippet of why I don't speak to her. But just because I came from her, out of her hoo-ha, doesn't mean she has good intentions for me. You understand? When people can see your light before you know about your light, it's jealousy, envy. Okay? I'm going to just put it like that. It's jealousy, envy. And then being that my people have ties to the islands, they automatically go to work. They go to work. When they feel things are not going their way, they go to work on other people's lives to make it what they want it to be. You follow me now? So for years, this has been done to me. So when I received who I was and I realized who I was after years of being talked about and downplayed, and you're not this and you're not going to do this, breaking my spirit down, and when I finally realized who I was, my eyes opened to what was going on. So that's part of the reason why I don't vibe with her. I don't know what she got going on. I haven't spoke to her in years because I'm not doing that. And I'm sure for her it came from years of trauma, like her own trauma, going through things, but that don't got nothing to do with me. And then you also have some people that they make children. Sometimes you also have people that make children with another person, but the intentions of them making a child with another person is not because they want the child, but because they want the man. And when the man have, like, in his mind other things that he wants to do, the envy and resentment goes towards the child. You understand? So I come from a life of knowing that I was not wanted. When your mother can look at you in your big age and tell you that I never liked you, I'm like, okay. And then the people around her, like family members around her, saying, oh, don't worry, it's your mother. You know, she was drinking. It was the alcohol. No, you ain't got to tell me about no alcohol. Am I the first child? Yes, I am the oldest. Yes, I am the oldest. I am the oldest. And my brother is no longer living. He got killed unalive some years ago. But yeah, I mean, I was strong enough to know that when my mother looked at me, I never forget that time. And I don't want to tear up because I released it already, but I could remember this so vividly because I was sitting in her living room and I was sitting next to her Christmas tree. So it was around Christmas time and it was a whole lot of people in the house, and she was just walking and she was like, I never liked you. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, did my mother just tell me she never liked me? I'm like, oh, okay. But you got to be careful of those people because although she never liked me, she did try to cleave on to my son. How she treated my brother, I don't really believe she got a chance to treat him anyway. And I'm telling y'all my business. I guess I needed to tell this story tonight. I don't feel like she treated him anyway because of our upbringing and our childhood. See, I'm strong-minded. When I want to do something, I do it. When I see something's wrong, I can go against it. Him, on the other hand, he went to the streets. You see, with my father not being around and my mother doing her own thing and drugs and all of that involved, he went to the streets. So he ended up being incarcerated from a young age. So she never really got a chance to treat him anyhow because he spent a lot of time in there. And then when he came out, he went in, came out, went back and forth. And then the last time, it's like she went to Guyana because my grandmother had just passed away, so she was taking over the house and doing stuff like that, and she just left my brother alone in the house. And even though she left him in the house, he wouldn't even be there. He wasn't even there. He was doing his own thing. So I don't feel like she treated him any better. I just feel like with her pain and her trauma, she didn't even know how to take care of herself, let alone take care of us as her children. I let go of all the pain and resentment behind it because I had to. I had to, because it had me suffering for a long time. It had me angry for a long time. It had me like acting out, as far as I would yell at my kids. Like I don't put my hands on them, but I was one to get ticked off like that. And I would be yelling and cursing and screaming because of all of that in here, right? So when I finally released it, I just released everything. I released him too, my father. I release him too, because the way I look at it, as I'm telling y'all my business tonight. Y'all better not tell nobody I told y'all this. But the reason why I released him is because obviously I grew up in the 70s, right? And my father, he was a person of the street. So if he wasn't DJing, y'all know them DJs. When you a DJ, you got all the women around you. You the hot commodity. But not only being a DJ, he was a person of the streets. He made money in the streets. He sold things he shouldn't have been selling in the streets. So I came up seeing that. You understand? And he went back and forth in there, back and forth in there. And while my father, he's the type of person, he wouldn't let anything happen to me. Like he would go tooth and nail, go to bat for me. He didn't like nobody putting their hands on me. But my thing is, when he left to go in there, he didn't know the trauma that I had to go through dealing with her. You understand? And my resentment with him is, she was chasing him so much, she would go take packages. It's not like now how you go online and you send them a package. Back then, you had to go buy the stuff and you had to go take it in the shopping cart and take it there. So this is what my mother was doing. Back and forth with me and my brother, going back and forth, back and forth. And the minute he was released from there, he didn't say, let me come home to my daughter. Let me see if my daughter's all right. He automatically went to another woman. So in my head, it's like I didn't even matter. You understand? And I don't know if he understands, but the reason why I let him go, and I realized I had to let him go, like I said, I had realization about things as a young age. When I was younger, I think I was in, I would say, my early 20s. And I lived with my aunt at the time because I left my mother's house at age 18. And I was walking down the street. And I was actually going home to my aunt's house. And there was somebody who catcalled me. Just go, psst, psst. And I'm like, what? At an early age, I knew that was disrespectful for a man to do. If a man wanted to talk to you, catcalling is not the thing, right? So I'm hearing, psst, psst. So I did turn around, and it was my father. And that was the most disrespectful thing. That was disappointing, because I'm like, if a man in the street is not supposed to catcall you, how you supposed to feel when that's your father catcalling you? And this is after him going in there and coming out, I didn't even know he was out. So when I turned around and I saw that was him driving a car, I just turned back around and kept walking, because who you calling like that? Not me, I'm not making it up. That's the way it is. So I'm like, okay, my father catcalled me in the street. What am I going to do with this information? But I had to come to the realization that he was doing his own thing in the streets. You needed that? Yeah. I mean, he catcalled me in the street, and then, like, when he finally got released from, because this all happened in New York, right? So when he finally got released, I'm thinking he was going to come to the house and finally be there with me, be there with my brother. Finally, I get my father. And it's like he went elsewhere. He wasn't thinking about me. He never looked back to say, I wonder what happened to my daughter. And eventually, he kept doing the same thing that put him in there. And eventually, the government was like, we deporting them. He never said my name. He catcalled me. He was like, psst, psst. I'm like, who the heck is catcalling me? And to turn around and see it was my father, I was like so disappointed. I was like, I just kept walking. And that's strength, because a lot of people wouldn't do that. You would think, oh, it's cute, but I didn't find that cute at all. Because I'm like, if your father could catcall you, you know what I'm saying? But after him, like, going back and forth, in and out, eventually he got deported, right? So he got deported back to Guyana, and then that was it. It's like he found somebody else. He started making kids with them, and I just kept going. I couldn't stop going, right? I left my mother at 18, so I just had to keep going on with my life. But the thing about that is, as you get older, you still want to, know your father, talk to your father. So I did have a few, like, interactions with him. And that wasn't the thing, but I had to come to the realization that in order for me to move forward in my life, I had to actually, like, mourn the loss of my parents with them still being here on the face of the earth. So that's what I had to do in order for me to get rid of the anger, in order for me to push forward, in order for me to develop my spiritual gifts, in order for me to be able to hear the message from my father's mother when she told me more about myself and about my gifts. So the reason why I say that to say the reason why I don't speak to him today is because, like I said, I had to mourn the loss of my parents while they were still here, and I took time to do that. However, I released it, and then just recently he tried to connect with me, and he's like, oh, well, I just want to tell you I was feeling sick, and I went and got some tests done, and this, that, and the other, and I may have the big C. And I'm saying to myself, and I said, I can't do this. I said, I mourned you already. This is me telling myself, I mourned you already. You understand? I feel like I'm an adult. I did what I did. I got through what I had to get through with no help of you. You never knew what I went through. You don't know what I had to go through. You never really asked me. You just see me on social media. You see I'm doing well. You see I have a family. You see I have children. And now it's like, how can you help me? How can you? And I'm like, I'm not doing that again, because in my mind, now I get close to you. Now I'm going to be, my heart is not going to allow me to not help you, because that's how I am. But then I'm thinking, if you have the big C and God forbid something happens to you and you're not here anymore, then I'm going to have to go through that mourning again. And I just decided I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that, because why? Why should I have to? You know what I'm saying? Parents don't understand the impact they have on their children. And that's one thing. It's like, don't go out there just making kids, because it's not good. And now that I have a son who has a baby, I try to tell him, that baby looking at you. She don't care about no money. She don't care about nothing. All she know is you are her daddy. And when she run to you and she cry to you, all she wants you to do is pick her up and hold her. She don't care about none of that. She don't care if you ain't buy her no shoes, no Pampers. And he does. But I'm just saying, kids don't care about that. That's not important. That's not important. So I just try to instill what I can in my children from what I know and for what I've been through. But for me, I'm not mourning that again. If something happened, God forbid, I don't want it to happen. But if you have the big C, and I'm not gonna be a part of that. I done mourned you already. And in my eyes, it is what it is, you know. But the only reason the reason why I had to do that is to be able to move forward. in a healthy way, to be able to have healthy relationships with my children, to be able to have healthy relationships with my husband, to not be so angry, to be more understanding, and to be able to feel love. All those things, I had to release it. I had to do that in order to move forward. He shouldn't expect it. He shouldn't expect it from me. But some people just do. Some people just do. And I feel like I did not have the capacity to explain that, because I don't feel like I should have explained that, because no one explained anything to me. You understand? I took my lashes, I would say. I took my lashes and I moved forward. You understand? You left me with her to suffer. You left me with her. You don't know what that lady did to me. You don't know the things that I've been through. And with the clients that I have and some of the stories that I have, I thank God it wasn't as bad as some of the experiences I hear about. But to me, it was a lot. And I deal with it the way I deal with it, by releasing it. And I'm good. I don't feel nothing. I'm good. That's all I can tell you. I don't know how to explain it. I'm good. And that's how I want a lot of my clients to be. A lot of people suffer with a lot of traumas, and they're not good. And this thing could affect your life. It could affect your money. It could affect your thinking. It could affect your health. You got to put these things in the right compartments, and you got to release what you need to release. Sometimes it's hard, but you have to, because if you go through life holding on to stuff, you ain't going to be right. Aw, I thank you. You gotta let it go, because sometimes things trigger you and you don't understand why you get in, like, you could, all right, say for instance, you want to be in a relationship, right? And your heart is telling you a good person, right? But you don't realize you got these anger outbursts. You don't realize you got these abandonment issues, that you got the person not knowing if they going or coming or going. You don't realize this because in your heart, you're a good person because you know yourself. But what you're exuding is not a good person. You're exuding the trauma and you don't even realize it. So that's why I tell people sometimes when they come to me with different things, you got to take care of yourself. You feel like that right now, like your relationships are reflecting how you're acting and you don't feel or know that you're acting that way? Is that what you're saying? Because that can happen. That can happen. Like, you ever notice some people, I don't care what they do because I'm not taking that and I'm not putting up with that. And that's off of trauma, because people are trampling over you. So you just build up this exterior like, F all of this. I ain't taking it from nobody. That's not really who you are. That's a trauma response. That's a fight or flight response. Somebody who always want to fight. Somebody who, no, that's not who you're supposed to be. And he started doing stuff to you. Okay. I'm telling you, it's not easy. And I thank God for my husband, because my husband, he's been with me since I'm 14 years old. So he knows my heart. But I'm sure being married to him for 20 years, I'm sure a lot of that was traumatic for him, because it was traumatic for my children. And just the other day, 2 to 3 weeks ago, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, or probably less, it was off of a client that I had. Something popped in my head, right? Off of a client that had something that popped in my head. And I was sleeping in the bed with my husband and I jumped up. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And I started crying. When I say I was crying, I was crying. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't believe that I was talking to my kids like that. Mind you, my son is 26. My daughter is 16. I'm like, I can't believe that I was talking to my kids like that. He was like, you didn't even talk to them. What's going on? I said, no. And I explained to him that I was speaking to my kids, like yelling and screaming at them their whole life. Like you wake them babies up and you yelling, get up, let's go, gotta go. And them kids, they end up traumatized. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I said, is he here? Is he here? He's like, who's here? I said, is my son here? He was like, go downstairs and see if he's here. I went in the room and all I could do was bawl. My son was just looking at me. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm sorry. I truly apologize to my kids because I didn't realize. And my son, my husband would tell me, he's like, you can't talk to them kids like that. I'm like, what you mean? They getting on my nerve. And da-da-da-da. And he was like, babe, you can't talk. And he used to tell me, but it's not until it hit me, which is 2 to 3 weeks ago, that I'm like, dang, I traumatized my kids. I kid you not, I went downstairs. I was crying, begging for forgiveness from my son. And I hugged my son as big as he is. I am like, I am sorry. Came upstairs and did the same thing to my daughter because what? And I never realized that. And I realized that from a client, a good client of mine, by the way she was talking to her little boy. And it just kept coming up. And I'm like, you can't talk to that baby like that. And it hit me. That's the way you used to talk to your kids. I could, oh man, I cried so hard. When I finished apologizing to them, I just went in the room and I was crying. My husband had to console me and I cried myself to sleep because I couldn't believe it. I guess I had to share that with y'all. But I'm grateful. The thing is, when you apologize, it's nothing to apologize, but yes, I did need to release that. Apologizing to someone is one thing to apologize, but apologizing has to come with change. You can't just keep apologizing because you want to get back in good graces and you coming back with the same thing. And that's one reason why I had to cut my mother off, because she wouldn't even apologize. She wouldn't even apologize because in her eyes, she did nothing wrong. Nothing was wrong. And if I told her a day like today, I remember when you told me you didn't like me, she would go, I didn't say that. I never said that to you, so I ain't got that kind of time. I'm like, did it? It's done. I release it. And the thing about it is, you see people get their karma. Like her, I see it. I see her getting her karma. I don't wish it on nobody. I never did anything, but I can see she gets her karma. I can see it. Don't have nothing to do with me. I just release it because I ain't getting no karma behind it. You know, for your mother let me tell you, I was a single mother at the time when I moved here in 2003. I moved here in 2003, and by 2004, I purchased a home. Right? My credit was bad. So I had the money for the down payment and everything, but I just didn't have the credit. So I asked my mother to sign for the house for me. And she did that. I thought it was out the kindness of her heart. But the mistake I made was I never put my name on the house. So like 2 years after purchasing the house, she came with, she wants to refinance the house because she got credit card debt and she wants, to pay off her credit card. So I'm like, well, what does that entail? She was like, well, the mortgage is only going to go up by $100. So I'm like, okay, you helped me. I help you. Go ahead and refinance the house. I'll pay the extra $100 because my mortgage was $1,050 at the time. So I'm like, okay, I'll pay the extra $50. $100 because I used to pay her weekly. Every 2 weeks when I got paid. I used to pay her every 2 weeks. So it came a time after I got married and I did my taxes, and it came up when we came together and we did our taxes. We ended up owing the government $5,000, and I never forget that. I looked at my husband. He looked at me. He was like, "Did we make a bad choice by getting married? Because I ain't never owed the government." I said, "Me either," but we didn't have anything to claim. So I called my mother and I'm like, we're going to have to owe the government this, we married now. I said, can you just sign the house over to my husband? Because my husband didn't have a problem with his credit. And that lady said, yes, I'm going to sign the house over. Yes, send me the information. And I sent her all the information. And I would call. I'm like, Mom, did you do the paperwork? Mom, yes, girl, I'm working. I ain't got time. Call me tomorrow. And I'm calling her like a fool. And this woman, something just told me, this woman is not signing this house over. So I said, you going to sign the house over? Yes. And I spoke to my cousin. My cousin was like, your mother done told everybody she not signing that house over to you. I said, okay. So I came together with my husband and I said, well, we going to have to leave this house. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up taking the L. We ended up building our house from the ground up, leaving her with the house. And within 6 months, that house went into foreclosure. I purchased that townhouse for $150,000. It sold for $75,000. I could have bought that townhouse. It sold for $75,000. So people get their karma. And up to now, she's still getting her karma. So sometimes you got to just let people be where they are. All right, it's 11:30. She got a whooping for real? Oh, no, let me tell you, that ain't even half. How about my grandmother passed away? My grandmother owned 2 homes. So one of my aunts lived in one of the houses. It's a multi-family house in Brooklyn, right? So one of my aunts lived in one of the houses, and my mother lived in the house where my grandmother lived. How about the aunt that lived in the other house was controlling everything? How about the aunt that lived in the other house trying to put everybody out the houses because she wanted to sell and keep everything for herself? So ever since my grandmother passed, they've been going at it. So I don't know if she homeless now or not, but my aunt was surely trying to make sure she was homeless. And they calling me. I'm like, what y'all calling me for? I wouldn't care. I said, I got my own house. I told my grandmother before she left, I said, Grandma, if you got anything to give me, please give it to me while your eyes is open. Because when your eyes close, I ain't got time. And just when I tell you the fireworks, she trying to put everybody out because she's big sister and she want everything for herself. So everybody get their karma, honey. Everybody get their karma. I'm like, I don't even want to know. Don't tell me nothing. She was being spiteful and look what happened to her. But let me tell you, before I cut her off, the crazy thing is, before I cut her off, she's going through that stuff with her sister. She would call me on the phone. Yes, you know what your auntie do? And I'm sitting on the phone like this. I'm looking at the phone like, did she not just do the same thing to me? I'm like, she talking to me like she ain't just take a whole house from me. And I'm sitting on the phone like, you can't make this shit up. I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah, that's what she did? For real? Oh, okay. I don't know what to tell you. But why you calling me for? What are you calling me for? What you want me to do? Woo! And somebody asked me, so if your mother was about to be homeless, you're not going to take her in? Take her in where? Where I'm taking her? But you got enough bedrooms in your house? Sure don't. Sure don't. Baby, if I got to sleep in a bedroom a night, you ain't coming. No, you keep that chaos right where it is. No. I wouldn't even let you sleep in my garage. No. Negative, no. No, I'm not doing that. Tried to turn my son against me, everything. Let me tell you, my son was in NY with her after my brother passed away. And my son, he's the type of person, Mom, he calling me every minute. So I'm calling him every minute to get the tea too. He telling me the tea, I'm getting the tea. So one time they were walking down, I think Church Avenue or something. And then I hear her saying, "Who's that you talking to, your mother? I can't take you every time you talking to your mother." I said, "She sound mad. Why she mad? Because you calling your mother?" I was laughing. I said, "Ooh. You mad because somebody talking to their mother? She got issues." Exactly. That is exactly true. Man, listen. I release it. I got stories for days. Y'all can sit and listen to me tell stories for days, honey. But I release it. I release it. I release it. Let them people do what they do. How I look at it is I create my own reality, right? So the parts of my life that was good was good. But the parts of my life that begin to be jacked up, I release all of that because I honor the family that came from me. My husband, my kids, kids. That's what I honor. Anything outside of that, y'all can kick rocks. Because I moved here in 2003 and I have yet to have a family member say, "Girl, you live over there. Let me come see you." Never would they come see me. And then every time I'm going back for funerals and this and that, I'm going to stay at their house. But they never come to see me. I'm like, and one day it just hit me. I said, wait a minute. They be coming down here. They go on their trips. No, I used to live in New York. Right now I live in the South. I don't live in New York anymore. But I'm like, they coming down here and never once did they come to see me. One time I had a cousin who called me. She was like, "Oh, I'm heading your way." I was like, "Okay." So she was like, "I'm here." She called me, tell me I'm here. So she's one of the younger cousins. So I tell my husband, I said, "We're going to pack up. I'm going to pack up everybody in the car. And we just going to go over there." We drove like an hour and something to meet up with her. Honey, I got to the hotel and I called her. This is when I realized I had to cut everybody off. I said, "Girl, we downstairs. Where you at? We about to take you out to eat. Where you at?" You know that girl told me. She was like, "Oh, I'm not coming down. I'm about to take a nap. I'm tired. I've been out in the sun." I looked at my husband. I said, "Did we drive all the way over here for that chick to tell me she not?" I said, "They don't mess with me for real." That's when I was like, "Oh, okay." And my husband saw it in my eyes. He was like, "Babe, let's go eat." We went out to eat right over there where we were by the hotel, by the water. We went out to eat and I ain't looked back. Now they be calling me and texting me, "How's the hurricane? Is there a hurricane coming?" Man, y'all don't mess with me. What y'all care? Y'all just want to know if I still have a house that I live in when the hurricane comes. Y'all don't really care. Y'all just want to know what's going on with me. Did she lose everything? Because that's what they want. No, I don't mess with them people. I got a text today. And I got a text today from one of them. "Oh, I just want to know how you and your family doing." We doing terrible. We doing absolutely awful. I ain't answer that text because what you want to know? I am 51 years old. When was the last time you asked me how me and my family do? If you don't leave me alone, I be wanting to cuss. Because I'm 51. Because you asking me now, you so concerned about how me and the family is. Do you even know that my child has a child? Ooh, that's what I'm saying. If the storm affected me, they would just talk. "Oh, I don't know why she moved down there. Who told her to go there? And now look, she has no house." Now, I know they would be talking about me like a dog. So don't call me about no hurricane. Hurricane time come, I see they calls, I don't answer it because that's stupid. Don't ask me about nothing. I'm not calling y'all and asking y'all, "How was the snowstorm? Did the snow melt yet?" I don't give a damn. Y'all better make sure y'all got some blankets. That's all I'm telling y'all. I don't care. I'm different. I release it. That's all I gotta tell y'all. And that's it. I ain't talking about myself no more. So those who were on this live with y'all nosy tail, now y'all know my business. Y'all know my business. But yeah, that's why I be telling y'all release stuff. You gotta release it in order for your life to be what you want it to be. Create your own reality. Forget what them people got going on. Because once you release it and you begin to look back at those people who you call family, you start to see like, dang, so that's why this happened. So that's why that person, oh, you get to see people for who they are.